plane. The cook was a fucking psychoed guy.
I just think it's surprisingly that like people with such small roles did a really good job at it. Like,
yeah, everybody added their own little pizzazz to the movie to make it what it is. It's really good. It has a good moral of the story. You know, don't do really hard drugs, or if you do, try to stop.
It just shows you how it kind of the long-term
effects
of hard drug use and the endless kind of cycle that you find yourself in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I.e., Spider Mike or Cookie, you know what I mean? You can tell.
Yeah.
Specifically Cookie, you can tell that she just looks... Because we all know Mina Savari from American Beauty, American Pie.
She was
Loser.
She was hot in American Pie and Loser.
And then you just see her all run down, and you're like, damn.
Because I feel like she does the worst. Okay, so I'm not an expert, right? But there's like many different ways you can ingest methamphetamines, and she does probably the worst type of ingestion of the. Well, Spider Mike's is pretty crazy too. He actually injects it. What she
with
does
his own
is,
saliva.
yeah, he spits in his, so exactly. But she just freebases off of foil. That's why her teeth are all black and burnt, and her fucking lips are all chapped and dry and shit. Because that's like the worst you can do. Even Nikki says that to her. She's like, "Oh, don't do that," while she's doing it.
That can cause Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it can cause fucking massive brain damage for sure. You're smoking foil, but hey, that's what people get addicted to. That's like straight up freebasing.
Because it's all depending on how you do it. You get the high faster. It's all in preference on how you want the high. Correct.
Ross does it. He snorts it like cocaine, which can be done. You can also put it in a pipe and freebase it off of a pipe like that. Do it on the foil, or you can do it like Spider Mike does it, and he kind of puts it in a spoon, spits in the spoon, and breaks it up in the fucking...
Similar to heroin.
Yeah, just like heroin. Yeah. We're over here fucking drug experts now, but yeah, dude, that's what they do in the movie, so it kind of shows you, and I'm pretty sure this is what the director was trying to do, was trying to show you the different ways of this, how these people prefer their drug. It's the same drug, it's the same death that they're all taking in, but it's just their method, their different way. So I thought that was very interesting. When I first seen it, I was like, wow, all of these people do it differently. You know, instead of...
Even the detectives are fucking snorting the
coke, the crank fucking crystal meth off their badges and rubbing it in their teeth.
Making people feel their hands, saying they got power.
That's right. You feel that? Grab my hand. Dude, what was that dude's name again? Stallmeyer?
Peter Stormare from John Wick. He's another one who's been in countless stuff.
Like you said, Tiny, everybody kind of adds their own spice to this big spun pie, and it comes out really good. You know what? I think this movie would do really well as a Broadway play. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you could do it that way. Yeah.
I swear, I feel like this whole movie would be good as like not a musical, but like a drama Broadway play.
Because all the sets are very simple. Something you could build the sets easy.
For sure.
And it's all dialogue.
Yeah, and it's all them just kind of playing off of each other. It's almost like when they were filming it, you can kind of see them kind of all vibing in their own characters. I can imagine the practice that they went through and the amount of like lines and stuff that they were all reading to each other, being in those characters, you know?
Yeah. That's the thing is, even some of these characters like John Leguizamo isn't in it for very long. Mm-hmm. He has minimal screen time, but he makes when he is on screen, he makes it count. Yeah, you know what I mean. So you remember, like you said, you remember Spider Mike, even though he's not like a core character in the movie, really.
Like Ross or
Nikki.
Yeah, or Nikki.
or even the
Nick,
cook.
The cook.
Once Mickey Rourke is introduced, he kind of takes over. You know what I mean? Because he becomes Ross becomes his driver, and it becomes like, oh, what can this guy do for me? You know what I mean?
Boy.
And Nikki's obviously is Mickey Rourke's love interest.
Yep.
For a while at least, and then so they're all kind of interconnected. Those three, you know.
Yeah.
That Trinity is kind of takes over the main plot of the film.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And you know what? And it's pretty weird that I didn't even notice, but there's kind of like, there's no antagonist besides the crystal meth. There's no like, there's no villain. They're just all their own villains.
It's just them trying to cope with addiction, or trying to, you know what I mean? Like Spider Mike is a dealer, and then Mickey Rourke is the cook, and he's just constantly trying to cook new batches and keep his hustle going. You know what I mean? And then you have like that subplot of Ross trying to keep his addiction like
from his girlfriend or whatever
level.
It goes through all the channels of what the meth heads go through, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, everyone has their own side effect of what the meth does to you. So
what I thought was very disturbing in the film, which we kind of glossed over so far, is when we meet Ross, I feel like we're supposed to be more sympathetic to him, where he's this like kind of introverted dude. Yeah. So we think, right? You know, like this innocent guy who's just, you know, needs a fix. But then, so he goes to
you are a serial killer.
Yeah. He goes to the strip club, and he brings one of the girls home. You know, and
she's on meth too.
They do it together, I think, and then they have some fun. And then he doesn't let her leave. He ties her up. Ross ties her up, and
well, he had tied her up during their escapades.
Yes, as like a kink, and then the cook calls him, and he's like, "Yo, you know, Volvo boy, I need your help. You gotta get over here. I think it's for taco, right?
Yeah,
the first time.
Yeah,
and so instead of thinking rationally and letting the girl go, he's like, no, I want you to be here when I get back. So he fucking leaves her tied up against her will. Very, you need to say that, but against her will, he tapes her eyelids and mouth shut.
Like a snuff film.
Which is, I was even telling you when we were watching the film the other day, I don't understand why he had to like black out her eyes. Like, what does it matter as long as her mouth is covered? Why does she not need to see? Does he want her to just sleep?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the logic behind this crackhead guy. Is he's just thinking of her as like a sex doll or a toy or something, like, hey, I'll be right back, and she's a regular person. You know, it's fucked up. But I think I think he does that so she can sleep, or wants her just to sleep or something. And mind you, she's tied up completely naked. You know, tied up on with these big ass ropes.
Yeah, zero comfort level.
Yeah, spread eagle.
Yeah, when he leaves, he puts on her favorite CDs. Supposedly her favorite CD, which when he slams the door as he exits, it's the CD is just skipping.
Infinite skip. Blah 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 blah, like that.
Probably for hours, because he left her there.
No, for days.
Yeah,
dude.
for days. Right, which is just torture in itself. And I feel like that is put in there. And I guess William, I can't believe he admitted this, but he really did that to a girl.
Ross, or
the actual writer.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it.
He really did that to a chick.
I don't know, maybe not that long.
Yeah, hopefully not that long.
No, hopefully not that long, and hopefully she was okay. But I believe it.
Like, because you got to go to the bathroom and shit, you know? Like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
You know what else too is he was like trying to persuade her by saying, "Baby, I'm gonna score some good shit right now." Yeah. So I felt like he was just trying to like say, "Hey, He didn't really have any intention of really going back anytime soon.
But the whole thing is like, first of all, she's a dancer,
stripper.
He fucked up her income for all of those days because she couldn't make money. She probably missed a bunch of, you know what I mean? Like,
I think he confirms it and says 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
He says, yeah, she's been tied up for 3 days.
Because he forgets about her. Then he comes back finally and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot that I left you here.
Yeah.
But then he starts to untie her. Then they call him again. Then he's like, oh, I gotta go.
But then the neighbor goes, what's going on in there? And the neighbor just happens to be
Deborah Harry,
which is Blondie, who's talking to John Leguizamo's character through the sex line, right?
Later on in the film,
yeah. But she ends up, I guess, breaking into the house and freeing her. But the whole, I think what Wes was trying to get across was, we think Ross is just a regular dude that's not, gonna torture some.
Yeah,
she's not innocent, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
even
go ahead.
I was about to say even well, this is maybe towards the end of the movie, but like when she Nikki heard that, she's like, "You're fucked up, Ross." Dude, that's fucked. Like,
yeah, I remember that because he's like, "I'm not a bad guy." She's like, "No, you are. Like,
you are fucked up."
Yeah, you are fucked up. Like
a normal person would never.
Yeah, she's like, "You're not normal," or she says something like, "That's not normal," or something. But yeah, it kind of we kind of forget that because we don't see it, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But we're also distracted at the fact that he's doing meth, going to strip clubs, going to fucking helping out this cook, going to the porno arcade, going to buy more crystal meth materials, blowing shit up. Definitely a roller coaster ride of meth for sure. We didn't talk about the Arquette cop.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis Arquette. Yeah. The fact that they're scoping out Frisbee's house, thinking he's the actual kingpin or someone that's cooking the meth, and the whole time the mom's watching this cops bust. Yeah, and their house is the one that's being scoped out or whatever. It just shows the comedy of what these actual cops are addicted to meth as well. Trying to find the other meth dealers to take their meth, pretty much. But I think what the director was trying to show was it's not only in society, it's amongst our cops too. Who knows I don't know if that was written in there to show that, but who knows what those what that Ross guy went through to write that in the script.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he knew the rat dude, or heard a story, because I'm pretty sure that guy just gathered a bunch of stories from all those crackheads,
yeah,
and then made it into a script, and which is really good. I love it. I like it. But
something that you couldn't do in a Broadway play, and I think that adds to the overall what this story is trying to do, is the fast cuts. The endless cuts.
True.
Kind of in the vein of Requiem for a Dream, and showing the dilated pupils, and it's showing you how the mood swings through editing of an addict. You know what I mean? And it does really well. It never lets up with that. They'll be talking and it's like
really fast.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll go into like a you get into like a depressed state, and like during the movie they drive and it gets to like a real depressing like song, like
it's all really deep,
and they just keep venting and venting like
I felt Billy Corgan really did bring that infinite melancholy tone to it, because it does and I might be wrong about this, but maybe the director was implying the come down of the drug, where you finally hit the bottom and you're like, hey, this is what's really happening. This is what the fuck I'm doing to my life. This is where I'm at right now. So maybe that part was to show the downside of, hey, when it finally hits, she didn't have her son or her daughter, didn't have her child. She only held her when she was born or whatever. And Ross still thought he had a girlfriend, and like, you know, he was over here saying he was working for a fucking chemist and making